Welcome back. The idea made good theoretical sense. Move the war crimes trial against former Liberian President Charles Taylor out of Africa, where the fear was the case would provoke civil unrest, and conduct the hearings at a safe distance in the Netherlands. But in practice, that decision has created real problems for the West African news media in getting the story back to the victims of the crimes. How do you cover a case that could last up to 2 years when you're thousands of miles from where the story actually happened? The Listening Post's Meenakshi Ravi now on the Special Court for Sierra Leone in The Hague and what the change in venue means for the reporting of that story.
It's a landmark case. Former Liberian dictator Charles Taylor is the first African leader to stand trial in an international court for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed during Sierra Leone's decade-long civil war.
As a former president, this is a very serious game, and that's why the media of the both countries must be involved, because how this case is managed in a fair way, if you will, in a balanced way, will impact greatly on the region, and Liberia is a major player here in this case. So yes, the country has an interest in this.
The trial began last year in Freetown in Sierra Leone, but it was moved to The Hague because of fears of civil unrest. So far, Taylor has failed to show up in court, where he faces 11 charges, including murder, rape, mutilation, slavery, and the use of child soldiers.
Some could argue that it has actually highlighted the attention that's paid to this trial. Of course, The Hague is the center of international trials. The flip side of this is the concern that because the trial was moved to The Hague, that it deprives those in Africa and those particularly in the region where Charles Taylor had the most impact of the right and the ability to see this trial firsthand.
After a decade of civil war, Sierra Leone does not have a strong media infrastructure. It's not straightforward for local journalists to relocate to the Netherlands for a trial that may last 18 months or more.
Will the Taylor trial be fair? And the accusations against him, is he able to here disputed, as he's been claiming over the years? And what role did he have to play in Sierra Leone? Nobody can tell that story better than this John Colley, who worked in our country all along in rebel land, including with Mr. Taylor himself at times, who know the Liberian situation and story better.
It is very much important that you involve Sierra Leoneans in reporting their own stories, their own events. We know how to go about it. We know what our people want. We know how they will receive it in a way that it can go down for a clear point of their understanding aspect of it.
The West African journalists covering the Charles Taylor trial experienced the war at first hand.
In Sierra Leone, about 50,000 people lost their lives, and properties also were damaged. And it went on for 11 years. So it was a nightmare. The psychological scar is still in people's minds, and they are saying that Charles Taylor is really responsible and that he should be tried. We are here to actually disseminate the information, be very factual. We don't take sides, we don't draw lines.
They are acutely aware of the need to stay impartial.
He's a former leader of this country. He has his own supporters within the country. He has his own following. It's key that they understand that there was a trial and the trial was fair, so that they don't see this as a simple witch hunt of their leader, their political leader, and only through our kind of detailed reporting that brings to the people of Liberia and Sierra Leone the platform for these people to listen to what actually unfolded, witnesses testifying and all that, which the Western media will not be able to do.
Without the media, I don't think these trials can really have the impact that they need to have. And we have experienced in the Milosevic case, I think, the very important role that the media played in televising and reporting on the Milosevic case every single day. Saddam Hussein trial, the same thing. The trial was was televised every day, and there was a great interest. Media plays a very important role in these trials, and it will do so in the Charles Taylor trial.
According to the journalists, Africans are following proceedings closely.
They are very much in the know of this trial. They know about it and they have their concerns around the trial. They knew that the trial was going to start on the 4th of June, and after that 4th of June, they were waiting for the papers to print the outcome of the trial. They are in high spirit, like I told you, they are in high gear to know what is happening and to see justice being carried on whosoever did what happened to them.
In an area of Africa where literacy levels are low, radio will be the key means of targeting audiences.
I try my level best to report in 2 languages, Creole, which is the local language, and English language. So I think those 2 languages can speak volume.
The audiences that we're dealing with are not as sophisticated as Western audiences. So you have to explain to these people, and that's why our reports are being translated into local languages and dialects to try and get people to understand more of what's going on, far from just the surface reporting that the Western media will carry out.
One of the challenges will be to keep the audience engaged over a possible 18-month period.
We are not oblivious to the fact that the Taylor trial has a kind of special myth around it. And it is our concern that that myth, that importance, do not lose its flavor.
Ultimately, the coverage of the trial is most important for the victims of Sierra Leone's civil war.
It's important for citizens to understand that and to see that and to experience that impunity is no longer acceptable in international law, that those who have committed crimes will be held accountable, even heads of state. That's a very powerful lesson, and that's what the media is bringing to the people, and I think that's exceedingly important.
Meenakshi Ravi reporting, and here's how our Global Village Voices see that story.
The issue which is being tried out today is not a Western issue. It happens in an African setting. From moving it from African setting to a European or a non-African setting gives obviously more bias, because the media will cover it from Western perspective and leave out the non-Western perspective, the African perspective.
Well, I think this time around that the media will do their best, because first the media didn't have the power to do things because of Mr. Taylor. But I figured that since Mr. Taylor is out, the media is ready to work back, to put things together that how it's supposed to be of the country.
The coverage, the news will be covered from the West, will get to Sierra Leone, but how does it reach the people in the rural areas? And those are the people that actually suffered, right? We need to be able to get the information across to them.
The atrocities committed warrant significant further attention, and the fact that this is a historic day and a trial for international justice really needs to be higher up on the agenda of the media, so that people can actually find out what is going on and that there is international justice being served on despots and tyrants.
Anyone else out there tired of the ongoing catfight between PCs and Macs? Our Internet Video of the Week takes a sideways look at the tit-for-tat battle between the empires of Microsoft and Apple in a spoof commercial that, as the song says, is even better than the real thing. Not that we're taking sides, but we're guessing that this video was cut on a Mac. See you next time at The Listening Post.
Ooh, Mac on PC. Ooh, Mac on PC. Ooh, Mac on PC.
I'm a right clicker. I'm an iBook flipper. Macs and PCs, no fight gets bigger. Surf Safari or browse in IE. Better know what you rap, a Mac or PC. USB 1.2.0. Son, you don't know. Watch my data flow from MS-DOS, command line prompts, black backgrounds, no special sauce. Well, I've only been around since '84, but my ease of use has done so much more. From a plus to a classic to a 2GS to a power PC, my is the best, so clickable. Yeah. Design is lickable. My Aqua interface makes XP despicable.
Quick, I pull the RAM stick out the slot, and I swap it with generic cause the port is hot.
When I run, it's an iPod. Talk, it's an iPhone. Stuff I gotta have no matter what, it's an iLoan. I want an Intel plus CS3, but for now I'm streaming keynotes in my bed listening to Steve.
Compatibility, everybody fits with me. All the applications wanna get with my virility. And anytime, yo, it might go off. And you can ride it till it's Microsoft. Right clicker.
I'm an iBook flipper. Macs and PCs, no fight gets bigger. Surf Safari
or browse in IE.
Better know what you rap, a Mac or PC.